That Harry and Meghan appear to be and like to be litigious, but the bottom line is, how litigious can they be over this latest royal book? Hi, good morning, Neil Sean here. Today in the very heart of Bradford. That's right, Bradford in West Yorkshire, which has been named in 2025 the cultural city. The particular building behind me was opened and built, should I say, in 1867. It is the Great Northern Hotel, now of course called the Great Victoria Hotel. These were brilliant places because they were so near. In fact, the track pulled up at the side of the hotel. That, of course, was when the Great Victorians made railway accessible to all. So lots of people travelling up to do business in this heavy woolen town from London and all sorts of places, right from Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland. Everybody then could travel around the United Kingdom and do business. It must have been wonderful though, if you were rich, don't you think? Pulling up in a train, literally stepping out, and there you are stepping into the luxury of the Great Northern Hotel. Wonderful building, and of course lots of famous people have stayed in this hotel over the years. That's all thanks to the splendid theatres that Bradford had, and still a couple retain, including the beautiful Alhambra Theatre and of course the St George's Concert Hall, which is more or less adjacent to this. So if you want a star spot, this could be the place for you here in Bradford. Back as ever to your breaking roll story of the day. As we know, Harry and Meghan are very busy, aren't they? Always, seemingly, with litigation. And it's a strange thing really, because Harry has taken the royal family into litigation hell really, in the fact that they continue to take out court cases against things that they feel are their just wrongs, as it were. Now, if you see someone like Prince Charles, or do you remember the sort of big debacle a couple of years back with Prince William? They threaten things, but they very rarely go to court. They very rarely push forward. It's just a veiled threat, and then that publication will back off. Seemingly not, of course, if you're Harry and Meghan. They like to see things through, win or lose, and of course not everything's a win for the ex-royal couple. But now they're setting their sights, and as ever we have to say allegedly, on the book of the moment, that is Revenge by Tom Bower. Now what's interesting about this particular possible litigation is Harry and Meghan's lawyers are looking furiously through that particular publication to see if there's anything that they feel is unjust towards their client. Now a lot of people would say, the fact that the book is a #1 bestseller around the world, more importantly when you think about it, isn't it best to let these things just blow over? Does it really matter? But they're looking at stories that they feel make them look bad in their brand, damaging to their own personal image. Hard to define where to begin and end. And of course, moving forward, I'm sure they're going to be looking at the sources and the people that have spoken to the author. As I've said before, you see, Mr. Bower would have been very clear and concise about how he put that book together, particularly as he's been open with meetings with Thomas Markle, who would have signed an affidavit and would have been recorded on that trip down to Mexico. Now, of course, as I say, Harry and Meghan do like to get legal, and this will be good and bad news for Mr. Bower because, of course, it deflects away from the attention of the book, but then on some hand as well, it also gives it more validation, because if they can't find anything to sue Mr. Bower or indeed the publishers for, then really where does that leave the story? As ever, people advising Harry and Meghan should advise to just stand back, let it fizzle out, ride its natural course. But we are told that the paperback edition will include extra chapters and, more importantly, more revelations. Seemingly, the Harry and Meghan story just rolls on and on, but is it wise to keep going into the law courts with these situations? As ever, as this develops, when I know more, you'll know more. Neil Sean in the very heart of Bradford.